Hello everyone and welcome to our demo. I will be showcasing how the Zadita platform and its Terraform provider simplify the orchestration and deployment of multiple workloads at the distributed edge. What do we mean by edge? At Zadita, this means the far edge where there's no IT staff, possibly in secure locations, no remote hands, and highly distributed, like retail stores, healthcare facilities, manufacturing plants, oil and gas platforms, or refineries, among others. Our demos focus on performing an automated deployment of multiple workloads at an edge location that are service chained through a virtual security function. To keep the demo pithy, I'll contain the scope to creating network instances, adding applications to our marketplace, and deploying the VNF and workloads. What the diagram shows is the orchestration flow. The deployment team will execute the Terraform code using our Terraform provider. The Zadita platform will then create the marketplace applications, create the network instances, and instantiate the workloads. I will stagger the execution of the Terraform code so that we can see what is happening on the back end, and I will illustrate it in our dashboard. Our workloads will be 2 Linux VMs, 1 K3s Kubernetes cluster, and the security network function. To demonstrate the service chain, I will show how the VMs can reach external networks like the internet, communicate with each other to show east-west traffic policies and routing, and how the K3s cluster automatically registers with Rancher, pulls a pod manifest from GitHub, and orchestrates the web app. In this diagram, I illustrate how traffic will flow. VMs will have external access to the internet through the firewall. There will be an allow east-west policy so VM1 and VM2 can communicate. The K3s cluster will have access to Rancher and GitHub, and then I'll show how a local user can access the application that's deployed on that edge node. The first thing we're going to do is log into the Zadita dashboard. Once logged in, we'll see our splash screen, and there's some information about our environment. In this case, we have one edge node online, and then you can see the edge location is one of my favorite places, San Jose. Now I'm going to select edge nodes, and this is our Zadita edge node, which is running EvoS. It has phone home and has been already onboarded. Here I'm just showing some basic information. This is where you could find the IP address. And here I'm showing the adapters that are available on that edge compute. In this case, I have an edge node with 2 Ethernets, ETH0 and ETH1. In library networking instances, I can see there's no entries. Under edge apps, this is our marketplace. There are no entries there. And then in edge app instances, there are no instances running. This is what we will be orchestrating with Terraform. And now what I'm going to do is orchestrate the network instances. So in Terraform, you can see create network instances in my code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment in the network instance code for Terraform and then orchestrate those network instances. This code is going to create 4 network instances. As you can see, network instance number 1 has a port mapping of ETH0. The others do not. The reason for that is the communication between the VMs and the firewall is done in the edge compute, and no physical port is required for that. Only the firewall's port 1 is mapped to the network instance that has a physical NIC attached. All traffic for ingress and egress will be through the firewall. Now I'm executing my Terraform plan and my Terraform apply. In the Zadita dashboard, we should now see 4 network instances that have been created and waiting to come online. After a refresh, I can see all 4 instances are online on the same edge compute. Now, what I'm going to do is create the marketplace applications. So you can see here in my code, I'm going to create the firewall app, Ubuntu app, K3s app. I'm going to go ahead and comment in the Terraform code. I'm going to walk you through it. You can see firewall, it's got 4 NICs, 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of memory, and then the disks, the images, and then the interfaces. some ACLs for inbound traffic. There's ETH1, 2, 3, size of storage. Now the Ubuntu and the K3s. Now I'm going to execute the Terraform plan, Terraform apply, and we should see the marketplace applications populate. Here we are. Now let's drill into the firewall app. We can see our resources there, 4 CPU and memory, 2 disks, and our interfaces. Now let's have a look at the Ubuntu app. Same thing, resources, disk, Ethernet, and then K3s. Similar information. Now in the final piece of this puzzle, we're going to deploy the Edge apps. As you can see, there's nothing there, nothing's running. I'm going to go to my code where my instances are, and I'm going to go ahead and comment in the firewall, the 2 VM instances, and the K3s. Just walking you through what that looks like. Got ETH0, ETH1, ETH2, and ETH3 for the firewall. And then I've got my 2 VMs. Oops, that should be VM2. That's just a label. And of course, I've got Cloud Init for all 3. And each one has specific information that is executed when the VMs come up. The K3s has cluster and rancher information to automatically register. I'm going to go ahead and save here, do my plan, my apply, and I should have 4 instances populating the dashboard. Here they are. They're provisioned and they should come online shortly. There we go. The firewall's online and the other 3 are still coming up. All 4 instances are now online. As these instances come up and Cloud Init is finishing its execution, I want to show you the rancher dashboard. So this is where the K3s cluster has been created, and we should see any second now that the K3s, as it completes its Cloud Init, it's going to auto register with rancher. As you can see, it's already phoning home, and it should go active any second now. We can see a little bit of action there. It's already reporting its resources, 8 cores, 7 gigs of memory. Should be active any second. And there we go. Our K3s has registered and it's active. So if I drill in here, I'm going to go ahead and continuous delivery. So I set up a continuous delivery on this rancher that pulls a GitHub repository where the application that is going to be deployed on this specific K3s lives. And you can see it's already pulled it and it's running. And here's my YAML. That's the app that it's pulling. It's a simple app, it's just for demo. And we create a service listening on port 30500. So here I'm going to drill into the cluster workloads, and you can see there's a pod, it's active and running. I'm going to drill in a little more. Here we go. There's the image. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop on to the firewall dashboard. By the way, all of this configuration was bootstrapped. There was zero manual intervention here. So here I'm logged in. Let me drill into the sessions. I can see there's already traffic traversing the firewall from my instances. If we go back to the topology, here's VM1. There's VM1's IP address. There's already traffic there. So now let's pull up a couple of consoles for VM1 and VM2, and we're going to check our east-west policy. Let me log in here. Okay, there's my IP, 10.10.0.10, VM1, and then for VM2, 10.11.0.10. So I'm going to go ahead and verify the IP. Then I'm going to go ahead and ping from VM1 VM2's IP address. Send some ICMP traffic and then check the session table. There's our traffic, 10.10.10 to 10.11.10. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And now I'm going to do the same thing from VM2 to VM1. Check the session table. And there's our traffic. So east-west traffic has been tested and validated through the firewall in its session table. And this is what we mean by service chaining. To automatically orchestrate all of the edge node applications and workloads without manual intervention through Terraform and Cloud Init, have it come up and traffic is already flowing. All the configurations were bootstrapped for the firewall and the virtual machines. So here I'm pinging Google, and here I'm pinging Cloudflare to validate that both VMs can get out through the firewall onto the internet, and I'm verifying that on the session table. Here I'm jumping onto our K3S instance. Go ahead and log in. Okay. Oops. Wrong password. Here we go. Here's my IP address, 10.12.0.11. I'm going to go ahead and ping Google, make sure DNS resolution is working. So I'm pinging the URL. And it should pop up and populate here any second. There it is. That's what google.com is resolving to, and you can see its ICMP traffic. Next thing I want to validate is the destination net that I set up to access that application that was instantiated on the K3S. So here I created a service, basically a VIP, on the firewall that our users can access locally and view that application. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a browser, punch in that IP and port, and here we go. Here's our sample app. It's a web app, and it's K3S Cluster 100. We hope you enjoyed this edge automation and service chaining orchestration demo. Thanks for watching.